All right, Black people and cryptocurrency. We're live. Deepa, how you doing tonight?
I'm so happy I get to say, "Hey, Bob." It's like it's a double
I
entendre.
see what you did there.
It's
Yes.
a double entendre. Everything is good. Everything is kind of green. I
Yeah.
mean, hand coin is up, hair
Mm-hmm.
coin is up.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's coin is up.
Right.
So I think we can't totally complain.
Right.
Uh,
Even some of those trashy coins are doing well. We're not
Yeah, yeah. In our group, there's a member, Jen Love. I think she made a comment the other day. She called them casino coins. I like that genre.
well.
Casino coin. It fits. Casino coins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no project behind it or anything like that.
Right. Right.
Folks are gambling and they trying to go in and get out as quickly as possible.
Well,
Good stuff.
ABOB is kind of a casino reference, isn't it?
It sure is. All right. So we got two guests kind of waiting backstage, but I want to really get it into what the heck ABAB is. I'm going to start using hashtag more often.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag ABOB stands for always bet on black.
Yeah, we got to pull out that Wesley Snipes line from that movie Passenger 57.
Exactly. Yep. You get it. When we started, all this stuff evolved from within the group, a thread within the group, the series of posts that kind of came back to back. Started actually in December. There was a post by a member named Kale Swan. He starts saying, "Hey, you should check out this property called Theta. I really like it. I read the white paper. It's a live streaming solution. The kind of, some of the things that we're experiencing, we're going to have a little glitches, a little delays. It's supposed to remediate that because you start pulling for people's processing power that are in your region. So they have a blockchain for that.
Start calling them black papers.
Black papers.
Right. You read the black paper.
Yeah, the black paper that they call something else. So he had that post in December, and I was like, oh, it's really interesting. It's really unique. It's not just a coin. It's just a project behind it. Then all of a sudden, some posts came in. I did a post, Mogul article on Black Lives Matter and whole Black Lives people saying that they're not getting the money. The money has not come. There goes Salicia. Hey, Bob. They're not getting the money that they're supposed to be getting. And so we had a sort of an off-topic conversation, but I brought it on topic. What I had said, hi, Andrea, is that, if in our group, if we were to recommend something to someone who was totally new to crypto, what would it be? Because there's stuff that we could tell those Black Lives Matter chapters, take this and do it on your own. You don't need oversight from Black people in cryptocurrency. You don't need a third-party consulting. You don't need a manager to help and guide you and teach you and go to this class. What would I give you? And we realized we didn't have anything that, we all stumbled our way through all this stuff, and we didn't have anything that was like cookie cutter. Step one, just go here, and do this. Step two, do that. So that post went by. Then Wall Street bets happened. Shorting the hedge funds, and GameStop and all that kind of stuff. And Saritta Hines, who's one of our guests here today, she did a post saying, look, why can't we do something like that as a community? Because we've got to come up with ways. She's a startup founder herself in blockchain. Trustabit is her startup, and you'll see her do some things with Google also. I'll let her explain her background when she comes on. She did this post, and underneath the post, and I actually boosted it today, there was so much conversation and dialogue. It was like, okay, how do we get this to do work in crypto? Can we do it in crypto? What would it be? Then people started mentioning Tron blockchain and all this kinds of stuff. So all of a sudden, the ABOB reference was in the context of that, because we were like, we want to do a movement. We don't want to call it, the Black Wall Street bets or anything like that, but it's similar, but we want it to be in crypto. What can we lead people to that they can really raise not only their own income, but maybe actually work into the funding of startups? So the Always Bet on Black, when we posted it, and Talisha mentioned that it was also being used in other groups like the Black Blockchain Consultants and stuff like that. But immediately, Eduardo was another member of the group, Eduardo Jackson. We thought of the Wesley, because we're older. We thought of the Wesley Snipes movie. This has always been a Black. And it's a triple entendre. It's a gamble. It's about Black people. And it's also about getting into the Black. So
and
it
it's
kind
a
of
way of life.
yes, it's a way. It's a way of life. It's you. It's your name. But and that was coincidental to the fact. So we got this. Now we got this hashtag, and then it came to how do you define what ABOP is? Well, how you define what ABOP is a way in which we're setting up a roadmap, a paper-based roadmap of a bunch of documents that are freely available to people in the group and outside of the group. That basically says, if you know nothing, this is your do-it-yourself guide of a pretty good way in terms of our opinion, not financial advice, because we're not financial advisors, of what you can do yourself, and you don't even have to reach out to us. Mm-hmm. And then we started talking about, well, what are the things we're actually going to recommend? Because there's a lot of good choices. This is a lot what we recommend. And another guest that we're going to have coming into the conversation, Gloria Perez, had been posting in the group even weeks before the Saritta post, and putting in comments, hey, there's this wallet that is on Android and Apple. It's called Clever. It's real user friendly. It's like Web 2.0, but it's a self-custodial crypto wallet in which you can actually have everything in it: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and then you can also Tron, and also the casino coins, and also it's a whole bunch of stuff in that wallet. So but you manage your own keys and everything like that. So that's kind of the backstory.
I didn't put any snacks in the green room, so I don't want to leave them in there too long.
Absolutely.
So would you like?
So we're gonna meet Saritta Hines. Saritta Hines is a longtime startup founder within the blockchain space. Her company is Trust-A-Bit. She also works with Google, and that's aside from the fact. But anyway, Saritta is a longtime member of the group. She's spoken. She's won pitch deck competitions. She's been all over the map. She's true blue, computer science background. Not faking the funk, the real deal. So actually, I think you played. Did you play basketball? Or you ran track. You did something.
I did. I played basketball.
She played basketball.
Yeah, I did.
Sigma Gamma Rho. It's all. No, it's not Zeta.
Zeta Phi Beta.
All right.
Zeta Phi Beta. She walks the walk. She talks the talk. So it's important to have, definitely to have group members, but the fact that we have group members, that the reason why they're not there every day is because they're working in technology and in the sector. So I don't want people to get a false notion that, you see me every day, you see other people every day, but the people who come in and may only say one thing once a month are maybe even more significant, because they're taking time out of their schedule to contribute or to comment, but they're really in the thick of things. So that Saritta is our first guest. And then our second guest, who's also waiting in the wings, Gloria Perez, she actually is from another crypto group. Gloria is one of the admins of CAKE, which stands for Crypto All Kinds. What is it? Crypto All Kinds. Everywhere. Yeah.
Everything, everywhere.
It's CAKE, and CAKE is good. Gloria and I got to go way back. We tried to do some masternode things together that didn't quite work out. But in terms of, her group and the mostly men that are in her group, it's like a fantastic group. I mean, it's very extremely diverse, and they're really knowledgeable, and they really are very adventuresome. I would put it that way. So a lot of times I go in her group and lurk, because they take risks. They're not afraid to jump off a cliff. And if they hadn't jumped off of a cliff, we probably would not found our first ABOB pick, which was Clever, because they jumped in the summer. And then kind of slowly but surely felt comfortable through Gloria to start saying, hey, you guys need to pay attention. And Gloria is going to share that end of the story. So Bob, I'm going to let you take over the question, because this is all new to you. So I want you to, have at it.
Hey, this is free flowing. I just want to hear right now what you guys are excited about now, because it's an exciting time, and we got veterans here. So we're not going to be talking about some of the questionable choices that some people make in their crypto. We're positive. This is a safe, positive space. and I'm positive we're talking about things that have a real use case and an interesting future. So let's start with, well, we're going to start with Gloria, because Gloria was the first person here tonight, and so she gets the opportunity to go first. So Gloria, what are you excited about right now in the crypto space?
Definitely excited about the Clever platform. I think it has a huge potential for growth. It's very user friendly. I kind of reached out to Deidre late November, December, saying, "Hey, you can't ignore this. The black papers, as you call them, are just amazing on this. I think I can really see the Cleaver token becoming something very similar to BNB one day." When I think of Binance chain, I kind of think of like a monopoly, if you will. And they need competition. And so I thought, I got into cryptocurrency for the very reason of being able to have more control of my money. And I wasn't about to give it over to an exchange. When I started putting, Ethereum into BNB and getting back, wrapped coins and not my own Ethereum, that bothered me. So I thought, I like this Cleaver app. I like that I can have different networks on it and trade, swap, buy. They have a web browser where I could actually go in and get involved in some online gambling, which really was attractive back in the day when coin wasn't as expensive as it is now. And just started playing around with it. And I started a group with a few guys, and they might be on, they might not be on, and Deidre knows them. And it was just very much back when I started in 2017, 18, very much a guy space, and just started speaking up and saying, hey, explain these things. What is cryptocurrency? What does it mean? So they got very involved very early on with the TRX, which is what the Cleaver network is built on. And I think I shied away from TRX. I mentioned this to Deidre on your page, simply because your page seemed to be really driven by Ethereum-based users. And TRX had an excellent product. It was very cheap as far as gas fees. And it interested me. And it interests me because I thought, hey, this is very user-friendly. And in order for this space to grow, we really need it to reach a group of people that, it's very simple, very user-friendly, and it's very affordable. And I didn't necessarily feel, even, in my experience with Ethereum and the TRX networks, that as far as Ethereum was concerned, it just really didn't have the user friendliness that I think we needed for large amounts of people. And as I started looking at different pages and platforms out there, Cleaver really caught my attention. And when I started seeing the development team behind it, and, like I said, some of the people I was working with, talk regularly to Misha, and I thought, well, this is going to take off, and this is going to be big, and this is no joke. And yes, you were talking about the possibility of us on the page driving something like the Wall Street bets, and I said, yeah, I could see us doing that, but I really think we need to get a larger base of people in, get them excited. And to be honest with you, Cleaver has just exploded, certainly since November. And I was feeling like it's 2018 all over again, where people are just, it's electrifying. It's contagious. And the comments that were on your page were just, it's what I want to be a part of. And, it's very much taking control of your own finances. Back in 2017, 18, when this all started for me, it was a lot of golden parachutes, and it was frustrating, and we didn't have control of that. And this space really allows you to take control of your finances, to take control of your vision, to put your money in things that you believe in, and not have it taken out from under you. So that's kind of what got me involved. And I kind of I think I called you, Deidre, on Friday night on the way home from work. And I'm like,
what
get in this.
Happened is, I'd seen her post about it, and we keep saying, when you see things written, a lot of times you're not really
It's
speaking.
clever. Yeah.
It's clever. It's KLEVER.io is like the base page, and then the white paper is KLEVER.finance. So if you want to read the white paper. So I had seen her actually, if she had been posting from November, I didn't see it in November, but I did see her post under someone's comment that I don't even remember what the original post was. And I was like, I think I've seen her post this more than once. Let me just save the link. And so then now we had to wait all the way until Saritta made the post about Wall Street bets that made me, again, when people start saying Tron, well, that's that thing that Gloria was on. Even though I knew Eduardo is building Cinema Draft on Tron. It's not like I was totally ignorant of Tron. I did, never paid. And she's right. Our group is mostly people talking about Ethereum. But when after Saritta made that post, Gloria was like, call me. And she talked for an hour and a half. And the way she was talking just now, for an hour and a half, she was like, this is what you've been waiting for. You keep talking about you want to help people. Ask me any questions. We've been on this road since summer. And I was like, oh my God. And so now I'm looking at prices and I'm looking. So that's how they became our number one, because it was kind of like this lingering, gnawing thing, like a toothache in the background. Then I was like, I'll look at it later. I'll look at it later. And then thank you, it's Saritta. I'm messing up your name. She's putting up the link. That's what kind of like got us that catalyst. But the catalyst is actually Saritta's post. I mean, it was a buildup. It's a very emotional time. We don't to recap a lot of the violence that's happening in all types of different sectors, and everyone is emotionally charged. Some people come to crypto as a cathartic outlet. It's exciting. It's something positive. Yeah. They're not losing their shirt. It's something positive. So we don't, let the conversations of whatever else is going around come into crypto, so that Wall Street bets was kind of exhilarating. It's that, the little man comes in and does whatever, even though they don't necessarily look like us. So you're right. You're rooting for the little man because you're like, oh, this is a movie. This is
like, get him.
Get him, but don't make me go broke. It's a duality type thing. It's like, oh my God, that's fiction, but get him. It's very charging. So, Saritta, come from your standpoint, what were you looking at in terms of Wall Street bets that kind of made you like put it out there into the group? And then also a little bit about, your background and where you see yourself and how you vision crypto, not just necessarily from the get rich, like we're going to get rich, but just how do you think it's changing the world in terms of the economy?
I'll start it back because I haven't really talked about this too much, and it's just a little bit of like, feeling like I failed and feeling like, now I have to go back and get a job. Like it's a lot. So just to start it back from trust a bit, I did suffer that curse of not really having like that good funding to be able to, keep going. And then, everything, it went down and I got a hump. It was like, okay, great. We got our first client. This is amazing. And then COVID came and took it away. So it was like, okay, what do I do now? I guess I can just go back to work. So that's kind of like how, Google came in the picture and was like, hey, we see you. Are you interested? Absolutely. I need to pay some bills. So that's how, I got to where I am at Google. But, as far as like how I got into this, like, as far as like, you see exactly what they were doing with GameStop. And it's like, they don't look like us. How can we do this? And, I've always been, every week I set aside some money to like auto invest into like something in E-Trade. And I was just being like, okay, so what's down right now? I'm gonna buy that because down. It's like airline stock, bought a couple companies that were investing in coronavirus testing and also trying to race to get that first vaccine out. And I made some money, but I lost even more. And it was like, okay, that was fine. let's I started thinking, I was like, why can't we do this? You know, my idea was to pick a stock. I'm like, maybe we can get together and do this. So I made that post. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. You think we can do that? And then it kind of morphed into something else where I wasn't even thinking about crypto. And it was like, okay, I can get on board. Let's, what are we talking about? And then just to see like the organic growth of it and to see, where I got in at, and then just the whole excitement of it. It was just, like Gloria said, it really felt like 2018 again. And it's like, okay, like this is good. But not only is it good, it's not a shit coin. Sorry, it's not Doge.
It's okay. You can say that here. We're on the internet.
Okay.
Industry term. It's an industry term.
Yeah.
It's not that. And then I saw the number of people on my timeline who have never posted about crypto. None at all. And everybody's talking about, how do I get this Doge? And I'm like, you don't get it. Like it's good for only those day traders. Same as XRP. It's only good if you're actively doing that. But if you are like me, I want to buy something that I really like, put it into like my hard wallet, like those casino coins, put it into my hard wallet and kind of forget about it. And, what I liked about Clever, I was skeptical. I'm skeptical about everything. But when I looked at it and I was like, okay, so first off, I own these coins. I know I can back up my wallet. Here's my keys. Okay, check one. Then check two. It was super easy to do. It was like, and then they integrated with, it's not Stripe, but what's the people that processes their credit card transactions?
Oh, Simplex. It's an Israeli company. They're behind a lot of things. They're behind.
They are right.
Dash. They're behind.
Apple Pay now.
Wallet.
Apple Pay.
Well, Apple Pay is brand new as of like this last couple of days. That kind of type of relationships. You see them doing deals, and for us it seems quick, but I think their roadmap goes back at least they're in year 4 now.
Yes, so, I've seen them in Plaid a lot.
Yeah, and their founder said it's a 15-year journey for him personally. So even before he was thinking about, the founder Dio, grew up in the favelas of Sao Paulo, Brazil. And so because he was fortunate enough to go to college and get out of that situation in finance and have a professor, I think one of the professors is one of the co-founders. I don't know if it's Bruce. I don't remember which one it was, or Bruno rather, or which one it is. But one of them is also the kind of mentor professor that was there. He was always thinking about poverty. And, and for Americans, for most Americans, not all, but for most Americans, our poverty is luxury. It's not.
Oh, it definitely is. It's not abject poverty.
It's not Johannesburg. It's not. It's not. Places in rural parts of India or something like that. We don't have that kind of poverty, even though we have people that are in dire straits. I don't want to undermine that, but for him thinking about that as a university student who doesn't have any means. All of this is leading to this type of growth of this, fueling this company and being responsive to the community, and the community is the customer. So exactly. we're by the time that Gloria got us to flip and pay attention,
Thank you,
January. We're talking about January. For me, the magic date was January 26th. It was probably before that. But I distinctly remember saying, I need to mark this date. And I remember looking at Clever's price, and I think it was like 0.008. Now, for Gloria was 7 zeros, and then
7 zeros back, right?
I was telling teacher, it was like 200.
I was like, what?
It was like $200 for 400,000 coins, and I'm like,
what?
Let me check this white pages out. I'm getting these.
The men in her group, and I don't really want to put them on blast, so we won't say last names, but Vito, Jojo, and Camden, and the rest of them. They go, like I told you, when we talked about backstage about their group cake, they jump off cliffs. That's the way they roll. So they told her, just do it. You don't have to know what it
Pretty
is.
much, just
You
do
don't have
it.
to know what it is. See, that won't work in our group. Not yet. We have some that would do it. Eduardo will probably jump off a cliff.
I need
But
to join that group.
Most people, I need to see the white paper. I need the team.
And that's
no
what
one
you should
thinking
do.
about-
Mhm.
You should.
Yeah,
They
you
do
should do
complain that because of the risk that they take, they lost their shirts a couple of times. So I mean, we don't want people emulating that. But that's the reason why she was able to note it at that time. So when I first started talking, it was 0.008 or 0.009. And then that was the kind of the weekend that we were telling people, look, you should have already bought and you should be, because our thing is not buy to wait to sell and trade. That's not the message
not
we were trying to send with ABOB. It's the step up from HODL. And for those who don't know what HODL is, it means to hold. It's a kind of a crypto industry term. So the step up from HODL is to buy and work it into the infrastructure to make more coins. So to buy into stake, to buy into participate in some DeFi, to buy and to eventually we'll get to mine or something like that. But that's is
definitely
the road of ABOB is like intermediate. That's the reason why the subtitle of this thing was, intro to ABOB, intermediate crypto. We're not talking about trading. We're not talking about some of the more advanced DeFi just yet or anything like that, but we're trying to get past Bitcoin 101. You should have already had as your base 0.01 Bitcoin at least, and never go under that, and still routinely stack when you can. So this is the extra money that now you're going to dibble and dabble in a little bit more risky things in terms of our opinion. Again, we're not financial advisors.
I also think it's about a higher level of agency also. So buying crypto and selling crypto, you're still basically in the marketplace buying these assets. I think what we want to talk about is what's the next level of involvement where we can have more of a position in the infrastructure, in the ecosystems that are being created. And now I think we're in the beginning of a new era where we're starting to see more of the use cases. We're starting to see how smart contracts have evolved, and now NFTs are the hot new buzzword. And NFTs, as we know, are still basically smart contracts. And now we're actually starting to see people use them. We're starting to see everyday people who are non-technical get excited about something besides Bitcoin and how to use it. And so we've always, I think, wanted to talk about how do we create opportunity for us to participate in the ecosystem. We kind of missed the ICO boom, but it all blew up anyway, so we didn't miss that much. But the problems that Saritta has as a founder trying to attract the capital that could get her idea to the next step. We're still in these conversations about how we can operate as a group to make sure that capital is funneled to our creative founders who have ideas that can definitely thrive in the marketplace, but need enough capital to get it across the finish line. And at the same time, we're all inside a laboratory. This all stuff is brand new. And it's one of the reasons why somebody on this live stream, and I'm not going to mention who, sometimes gets a little bit annoyed when we spend time, no name, spend time going over the thing.
There we go.
The thing is that from the inception of this group, we've done a great job about vetting out the garbage, and we've taken out the garbage time and time again. Whether it would be, what was the name of that scam? Whatever.
BitConnect was the first
BitConnect.
one. BitConnect and OneCoin. BitConnect and OneCoin established basically
the gold thing.
Oh yeah, the fake gold stuff.
The gold
bars.
Anything with gold.
Yeah.
Anything with gold in it. Yeah. Backed by gold is a red flag and trigger warning. But the group really evolved. Honestly, Bob is the silent genesis of the group. We There was three of us that had were together. It was Franklin Madison, who had passed away last spring. We're actually coming up to what's the 1 year anniversary of his passing. But Franklin Madison and Bob, well, actually Franklin reached out to me and he said, I need you to write something about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I know you were a journalist. I want the history. I want everything in the kitchen sink. Bob, you're over there. Bob has been talking about this thing, and I don't know what he's talking about. And I said, I don't really know too much about it.
That wasn't the real genesis. The real genesis was the day you called me up mad as F.
Because,
we found out
I don't like white supremacy in crypto.
Peter Thiel was and she's like, how do we start our own PayPal? And I was like, no, PayPal, that boat has sailed, but you need to look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And she was like, what's that?
Oh yeah.
I talked to her, she was an expert.
Yeah. It was a lot of catalysts that started. It was the call from Franklin needing that document. That forced me to write a book report. And then we had formed a Slack. Yes, right. Even earlier, that was a reaction to some, pro, who that used to be in office, Peter Thielism, and the whole alt-right that's currently, actually leading in crypto as well as leading in regular tech. And it was like, how do we divorce ourselves from this, because we're not getting service adequately by people, by anybody. How are we able to do that? So Bob is the one that threw me every TED talk, every article, my resources to write that document that I would write for Franklin came from Bob. And Bob understood it. He knew it, but he's using the vocabulary of the industry. He's so knee deep into it. He's like, I can't even break it down. I get it, but I can't really break it down. I said, all right, give me everything you got. Then I found my own stuff. And it was during those researches I was stumbling across a Sinclair Skinner and Eduardo. I reached out when we formed the group. I started reaching out then to Sinclair, to Eduardo, but I had them since 2016 in a document. So I kind of I knew about them. They didn't know, no diddly squat about us. So when we launched the group, that's what it was. But to take it back to ABOB, for people who are watching, right now we have a top 4 list of, even though tonight we're probably only going to talk about Clever, we have a top 4 list that's going to be drafted into a document. And like all our documents, we build our documents and release them free to our group. And whoever our group wants to send it to, whoever stumbles upon it, they can have it and use it. But essentially the 4 different properties are Clever, which is right now it is a self-custodial mobile phone wallet. It's a team that's primarily Brazilian. One Israeli is their chief spokesperson, Misha. They're really kind of easy to connect to. Their customer support is off the chain. But in any case, Clever Wallet, and they have a roadmap that goes to 2023. That includes a blockchain of their own. They're currently on the Tron blockchain. I suspect that they're just building a blockchain on top of Tron, because they just became a super representative of Tron also. So they're not giving up any power there. But essentially, they're going to have their own blockchain. They're going to have their own centralized trading. This should be interesting. Hope we don't get kicked off. Centralized trading app that's going into beta in April. And then they're also going to have, when they have their blockchain, they're going to have NFTs and all. So it's a whole list of things till 2023 that they have this roadmap for. They currently have 65 developers. And so if people are looking, I actually shared with Esco Abong, I should have shared it with you, Saritta, as well. You should check out their employment, and they're always hiring. So their roadmap for 2022 is to get to 200 engineers. So, and they're at 65. So there's growth for people that's a lot of growth. Engineering, that they're, you're getting hired. You're gonna get paid. So, but that Clever is one. The second one ended up being Cedo. Cedo kind of evolved, actually, sort of for me, because I was actually following a bunch of. I didn't know they were called Hourglass Contract. I looked at them as easy DeFi. I kind of got it. You agreed to be highly taxed, and honestly, it's cool. But there's a bunch of them. There's reflective finance. It's most all of them are on Ethereum. So I just assumed that Cedo was going to be on Ethereum. And it was by chance that Cedo was released on Tron first. And now they're on Binance, and they're also on Ethereum, and that just happened. So that was our number 2. Our number 3 was Theta.
So let me piggyback off that too. Like I still have, and I'll be honest, I still have my reservations about Cedo. Like I'm trying to get there. It's just it's something about it. And I think it's probably the fact that they had to say that they weren't an MLM in there when they had like the facts and questions. It threw me, and I'm like, okay, I didn't feel as comfortable. Maybe because it's too early, and maybe I'm not on that early curve. I'm kind of like halfway to it. Clever felt more comfortable to me to say, okay. And honestly, what I did, I liquidated everything. And it's don't do my advice. It's kind of like YOLO. Don't do it. Like
make your own mistakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my own mistakes. Like I liquidated everything and put it all into Clever. And it's like, okay, what do I want to do next? And I'm like, okay, it's Cedo, but I'm like, okay. And then it's like I like Wive. I like With. And it's like you just don't know how bad I wanna like this. It's just that it takes me, and everybody who knows me, like I can build mining rigs. And I was like, okay, let me try With, because I like the idea and I want to support it. But it's like I've never been able to do it.
Yeah, it's not working on Mac. Yeah, he said that. I mean, I follow them mostly because John is never really, if ever, in our group, and I follow. You have to tune into the Discord, which is on Telegram, and there's a lot of people that have come in, and he was like, "We're not concentrating on that now. Just get a GPU or get actually most the setup is best on Odroids or Raspberry Pis." So he's like, just get a $70 Raspberry Pi, because that's what we wrote this for. And the reason why is that they're built. It's called Wive. That's our fourth pick. So the picks are Clever, Cedo, Theta, Wive, in that order. And Wive was just announced. Wive you can only get from mining. Period.
That's the only way, and I want it so bad.
Bitcoin protocol had their genesis the last year, and they're actually set up to be for people with less means, because on the African continent, you're dealing with a very young population, and most people don't. So they're definitely ASIC resistant. But they don't. They're actually going to pull somebody in the group saying, "Look, I got it set up on a 10-year-old laptop, and I've made like 400 Wive and stuff like that." So they know that they're overly geeky. They know that they're engineering. He's like, I have no intention of putting it on a marketplace anytime soon. We're not decentralized enough. There's this conscious level of we have to be more decentralized. We need more engineers. We have to improve our blockchain. So it's uber early.
It's conscious, yeah.
But and
I want to help a lot.
Yeah, so that was like when I talked to John directly, he was like, yeah, we need more engineers. We need to train more engineers. We need to move forward in, how we want the blockchain to run. But the gist was to give an orientation to those nations that are in the tropics. So not just Africa, India, going into Central America and all that kind of stuff like that. It will always be biased that people running the same Odroid or Raspberry Pi there will earn more Wive than me living in New Jersey.
Exactly. And sense. Sometimes it makes sense. And you have to be
commodity of solar.
Right. And you have to be in that time zone. And I tried to trick it and say, okay, let me change all this. I even got an AWS instance and was like, okay, I'm in Bahrain running this AWS instance, and it still didn't work. And it's like, but it's like, look, I want to help.
More than I did. You know what my Raspberry Pi is? It's Christmas. It's in the box that it came. I was like, Saritta already said it don't work on a Mac, so I'm not going to give a shot on a Mac. But I was like, I'll get there. I'll get it. And me putting them on the list was like, now I've got to show and prove. I've got
and I can help with that. Even if I have, I have a lot of GPUs, if it's I mean, I trust the group to a certain extent. So, you know, if Deidre came to me and said, hey, can you mail this person one of your GPUs? They'll set it up. I'll trust her. I'll do it. Like, if I wouldn't even blink about it. Like, all right, sure, here it go. Let me know how it goes, and maybe we can just build around it, because right now it's just collecting dust. So if I could send some of my hardware and like, well, if you need this here, you know, as long as, you know, back to Bob's point, as long as it's helping like us collectively. And, you know, I was thinking, and maybe I need to work the kinks out of it and see how, you know, what I was thinking could be used with Cedo. But I'm like, you know, Gloria dropped a gem with Clever, helped out, amazing. So now I feel like I need to give back. Where do I take some of my earnings that I have and put it with some organization that I trust and know that they'll always bet on Black?
Well, you being also a developer, if you haven't been in the Cedo Discord, they started a new channel this week called Clearwater. They're actually asking people, developers, to look at the code of one of the new products that they're releasing onto. It looks like they're transitioning into what they released was a series, a roadmap that includes all these different games. And the idea is that if you're not in the Cedo Wi-Fi, if you wanted to play poker or wanted to play whatever, it doesn't matter. All the taxation revenue of this gameplay is going into the people that are in the DeFi network. So the people in the contract become like the company, so to speak. And the players, well, you got the benefit of playing the game, but they have some type of product there called the Big Tent, and they put it on the GitHub, and they said, look, this is our code. Now, I'm a front-end person. I was like, oh, great, good job. And I'm not looking at it. But I was going to talk to, because this little just happened a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, I need to get, you know, Esco Abong and some other people. John Karanja's too busy with, you know, his group in Kenya. But we really need to get some of the Black software engineers, because here's an opportunity for them to, if they like it, start contributing, and then we can build up. You know, even though it's decentralized, we can build up the Black presidents, or Gloria can build up the Latinx president, anything, because they actually put the code out there for this new product that they want to launch. And they said, can you take a look at it? Tell us what's wrong with it. So I don't see a lot of that. We haven't arrived at any projects that early before that people were actually showing. Casino, we kind of stumbled upon like 3 days before launch, and they didn't release the white paper until or something didn't really, and it was a contract or something didn't come up until like a day before. I mean, everything seemed like last minute. But I noticed in the interview with Misha Letterman, who was talking, he gave an interview not long ago about Clever, and he said, you know, before we launched the wallet in October 2020, there was a Redux wallet that was the one strong one. He said, we dropped the white paper 3 weeks before. He said, we don't believe in and he insinuated and hinted at other entities that release white papers, and years pass and they're selling coins and they have no products. And I thought it was hilarious, because I was like, I thought we only know that. So a part of the criticism of Clever was like everything, and Cedo was rushed, and it probably was rushed. But when everything, the dust cleared, and the few people, and I would say maybe there was, you know, people are private, so people dealing with money. But the people who made it known, it may have only been 6 of us. Maybe some of us have multiple wallets. So let's say double it. Let's say everybody had two wallets. When the dust cleared and they put stats every day within the group, that first stats thing on Cedo Prime was like 65 or 69 wallets. I was like, this is small. This is early. And now I don't even know because I don't even look at the daily stats as much anymore, but it's in the 130s for the original Cedo, and then Ethereum and the Binance ones are even smaller. This is a time to become some of the earlier players that we can't do with Clever, because those of us who are in Clever, some of us were able to vie for the governance token because they now have 2 coins. And the only way to get the governance token allows you to earn residual. Well, I don't want to say income. Earn something. Rewards.
Earn while you sleep. Earn while you sleep.
Earn from the trading platform that's coming and the other stuff. You had to burn the original coin. You can't buy, well, you can buy KFI now, but originally you could not buy KFI. You had to be willing to destroy what you had previously purchased in order to be given a distributed amount of that.
That was a trying time.
Early.
I was like, what does Gloria think? Because honestly, I said, Gloria, what are you doing? Because I was like, oh, okay.
I saw that.
Liquidate it all. Sell it all. Buy that.
I saw her post, and I was kind of the same thing. I mean, I had the same vehicle you had as far as the white papers. They didn't give a lot of information, but it sounded very promising. So I went back and asked my group of guys. I know that Deidre was in that conversation, and the gist of it is Cleaver is not going anywhere anytime soon, and you know, every one of these, it is going to become an exchange, is eventually going to go into the tokenomics. And you can see the value of tokenomics firsthand if you're like, I keep referring to Binance because they're really, really nailing it. So, and I really think that Cleaver is going to be competition for an exchange like that. And if you see the way tokenomics and the value of the tokens are taking off on the competition, that gives me an idea of what we have coming up going forward.
I want to stop for a second and just make sure we define tokenomics for people, because I know we start to throw around terms, and this is intermediate, but that's a term that people may have heard but never had defined. So let's define tokenomics for people.
Well, you've got your cryptocurrency coin. You know, you've got like Tron, and then Cleaver is considered a token. I'm assuming it's built on the Tron network and on the Cleaver, and it's going to be their. I know, actually, I don't really know all the details, but what it appears to be on the Binance chain is they have their own tokens, and they have a value, and you can swap those out for other tokens. And it's kind of like you belong to my club. It has a value. It keeps going up. It goes down. Where it's going, I'm not quite sure. The way it was kind of spelled out with finance is I felt as though it was more, the tokens were driven more with the KFI coin. You got to understand a little bit how they were going to value it. Go ahead, Deidre.
Yeah, the tokenomics, you know, the phrase,
you got to take it back. You got to take it back. I took econ twice.
Exactly right.
I barely, you know, journalism major. It's like, oh, can we just get past math class?
It's definitely another source of fundraising, right?
That's right. When you went originally, when you were looking at cryptos, you were looking to see if the total supply, as well as whatever they put out there, which is called the circulating supply, what did they have released? So they set a number and said, look, the total supply is the amount of cryptos that we will all, the total amount we'll ever have. But we're only releasing 10% of that right now. And we're trying to sell that and get that going and bring that up. And then, you know, we have this set of instructions that guide how we release it. At least a good coin would. They're going to release it arbitrarily and start flooding everything. So that's kind of like the old tokenomics. But now what people are doing is they're having these, you know, huge supplies of coins, but they're saying, you know, don't worry about it. As we get to these populations levels of people we see coming in to use, like Clever has 150,000 daily of their thing. We're going to destroy the original amount. We're going to make the supply smaller. So they had a ridiculous amount because they want the growth slow. And then as things, when they want to speed it up, they start having these intervals of burning. They burn from when you use the swap. So they're getting rid of it and reducing the supply, and that should make the individual coin value rise up. Now, since they had two different coins, the first coin was KLV. It has the huge, large market supply, but then the KFI is only fixed at 1 million ever. So when they released KFI, they were like, we're releasing 150,000. We're only releasing actually 100,000 for y'all to vie for. 50,000 is going to go to those people that were even
like
earlier.
Gloria.
Gloria
folks.
Earlier than Gloria folks.
Not necessarily.
A lot early. So, some of the arcade people are Tron Lifetime Wallet holders or something like that. I think they were earlier than that, right? But anyway, the early basically the CETO level people, the people that are like, okay, I can try to get it. I'm going to take a plunge. Because those people had invested so much early on in the original wallet, which was basically very similar but canned, and maybe there were some organizational changes, and that led to the Clever brand in 2020, there had to be some way of compensating them for basically what they were paying into with the original system. They took 50,000 of that and then promised them, I think it was like 30 or 33 KFI per one of whatever the coin that they had originally that they canned. And then they took the rest, from within the team and stuff like that. So when you see KFI, I keep explaining to people in my Discord because they're upset because by the time we burned what we burned to vie for KFI, the individual coin value should have been like 6,000 and something. KLV.
But you know what?
Early on, it's not going to do that because it's 150,000. It's not 100,000. I said they can't do that. They have to bring value to the 50,000. It's going to be lower, and the people who are selling are the ones who are airdropped because they lost their money a long time ago. So they had to survive until. So think about it. It's a long time away. Gloria, when did do you have any dates on when the Tron Wallet Lifetime people were kind of dealing with that membership coin? Like around what time did that kind of end? Because
what membership coin are we talking about?
The Tron, what's it called? The TLW
Twilt.
Right.
No,
did that 12 in because they had to wait all the way until now. It had to be at least a year.
Well, everybody I knew got into it about 2.5 years ago. Yeah. And then once that supply was liquidated, you could only get it if you went to, special sites and kind of trusted these sites to, like a paper bag in an alley to get your coin. So, but the idea is they, you have this very valuable coin. You're being promised by this group of developers that one day we're going to create something, and you're going to be rewarded for spending your money. And so that's kind of where I think that they were trying. They're trying to use the fundraising with the KFI coin, and that you're going to be spending a great deal of your cleaver, which has a value, for the KFI. And because of this, you're going to be able to, down the road, you're going to benefit just like you did with Twilt. You got 33 or 30 KFI coins, and now you can see they have a value anywhere between $3.50 and $4. I think I've seen it go up to $4.50 at one time. And so the idea is we're going to reward you, and if you own this, you're part of our government, and as a person in this government, you're going to be able to vote with it. You're going to have a value associated to it. I was actually pretty surprised that the value was so quick. I didn't think that was going to come. It turned very quickly, and so now you can vote with it. You have a voice. And in my thinking, I was thinking, okay, so you're part of this government. Essentially, you're employed by this KFI because you have purchased this. You now own this government. Maybe they're going to try to work it so that this government will eventually pay you out because you have a part of this government, right? This governance coin. So that's where I've been thinking it's going to be going. What transpires and what they let us in on these little gems of information they give us on Twitter, I'm not sure, but from what I see, they've kept to their timeline, which is a big deal. They've kept to their timeline. The crypto space can be kind of sketch. A lot of people investing a lot of money in projects that don't have a timeline, or have a timeline, it was never fulfilled, or, don't have a good anything to back it. I know I heard, for instance, what was it, XRP or one of these coins on the page recently, and I thought, it amazes me that people put so much money in these without anything behind them, yet Cleaver stays at such a low value still, and it has so much development behind it, and just amazing plan. So it's kind of one of those things, I have to believe it's going to take off in spite of where the value is right now. Thank you, Eduardo. Yes, the roadmap is phenomenal. They've kept to the roadmap every step of the way. They have an amazing marketing team, and so far they have gained my trust. Now, where they go and what they release along the way, that will only add value to both KFI and the Cleaver coin.
So think about this: their roadmap, and you can still see their roadmap. Their roadmap started in 2018. So in 2018, people were buying a coin that no longer exists, this Twilt coin, for something that got totally scrapped and revamped and eventually became Clever in 2020. So they've been holding a dead coin that hasn't been on an exchange, that, like Gloria said, well, if you wanted to exchange and you had to meet somebody in some room, and maybe they did give it, because there's no maritime to trade. They're holding a dead coin with faith that a company is going to come through and give them something of value in exchange for the first risk.
They didn't have to do that. They did not have to. They could have just been like a lot of people in the crypto space. When I went in our Discord, and I'm trying to explain people, we're early, but we're not early to Clever. You're early if you go into the CETO Discord and start asking them a bunch of questions. February 3rd was the date that they launched. February 3rd. Clever launched in 2018. It wasn't Clever, it was Tron Wallet, Tron Wallet, whatever they were. And, Tissel, Tossel, and everything else, up, down, and eventually didn't become Clever until August 2020. And then, so I see people, people bought at a penny, or they bought at 2 pennies, now coming into February, into March. And they're complaining. Some people bought it 10 cents. And they're complaining.
Listen. Hold on.
I dropped. But I'm like, the people who were chill in 2018, they're not complaining.
Listen, that part, it takes a lot of, I type a lot and I erase it. And I type again and I'm like, I'm replying to this, and I erase it. And I'm like, what coin have you, when we talk about the burn event, what coin have you ever had that got onto the exchange and it listed for a couple $100? And I'll wait. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple coins if you go through the, Uniswap, go through the pooling.
Uniswap, but like, how many have you, when I think about that, I'm like, you act like you've done this, and you've gotten in on what is it, Wyatt, on Yearn and all these other coins, and it releases at a couple thousand, and here you go. And I'm like, you know what, these coins,
how does it happen? Right? How do I get to know those people? Right.
Yeah. And it's like that's why I really like this group. And the information that Gloria and Deidre, puts out, I feel that I can trust it, because sometimes I take my eye off the ball and it's like, okay, I can't think about crypto right now, I need to work. And then I'll come back and it's like, well, what are they talking about?
What did I miss? Yeah.
What did I miss? And it's like, I missed this whole DeFi thing. I'm like, oh, wait.
So
okay.
we're 59:19. Does this countdown stop right at 1 hour? Because I dare mentioning something, but it's where I want to see ABOB go and expand.
So I talked to the wizard, and he has granted us additional time.
Yay!
Okay.
No, I
So-
mean, real time. We can stay
So-
as long as I like. We like. So it's really up to the
Wonderful.
three of
So-
you how long we stay, unless I get
I'm gonna
tired.
go.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
go
What you
back.
thinking, Gloria? I'm listening. Come on.
All right.
What's Gloria doing? So initially, when we started talking about this, Deetra, back in November, December, I had said we need to grow the group. Your group was very young. A lot of the questions were the same questions. You know, what's Bitcoin? How do I buy Bitcoin? You know, what's Coinbase? And it's like, okay, we've got, you know, middle schoolers, we've got high schoolers, we've got college students, we've got people that are, you know, that are in their mid 30s and 40s, and in our group, and I use that as a term as far as their knowledge in the crypto space. And you've done a really good job of reaching, I think, the noobs, getting them involved, getting them excited. I like that. But now I fear that we're going to stagnate some of our people that are developers and really advanced and know stuff, but don't necessarily want to waste their time educating every person on every post on the page. But I still think there's like a class, you know, college student class, you know, that really needs to get to the next level. And what I have been delving in lately, and I kind of asked Eduardo, thank you so much for writing a little article that was on Reef, and or doing a little video.
Thank
you for Reef.
So
I didn't even watch it yet. I just put my eyeballs, like, I'm gonna get back to this later.
Like, put a star by it.
You touched on something. How is it something hits the exchange and it's like $400 already? Well, we got to see that with KFI, right? So how do we get on those kind of things when it's at 10 cents, right? And not when it's at $450. And so I think I might have an answer. It really requires, I think, a little bit of the development side to kind of get in and confirm it. But it's my understanding that a lot of these coins are released through things like Uniswap. I think that's one of the first ones that came out, and it was these coins. You go in there, you put in their contract address, and then you can swap Ethereum or whatever coin for a volume or a whatever that coin is in a pool somewhere at early development stages. And that coin sits there and it has a value based on how many people buy into that pool. And then at some point, the pool is released, and I think people take out coins, or I'm not quite sure how that works. But I think that is also an area that I really want to find out a lot about. Now, I went in and I bought some coin, sushi, that same
Sushi
way,
swap,
sushi through Uniswap. And then I pulled my sushi in and I was able to farm it. Through Sushi Swap, also a swapping coin, allows you to farm, whereas Uniswap has a pool. Reef, I went to their site. They have something else, and they cross on multiple networks. They have Polka, or is it Polka? Yeah, it's Polka and Binance, and I think Ethereum. And so each one of these different networks allows you to buy a portion of what it is that they sell and farm it, pool it, mint it. They all have different terms for it. But that's where I would like to see us go into that direction. Send scouts, if you will, from the hive.
I'll scout. I will scout. Just put me in the game, coach.
Find out, okay, how do we get a hold of some of these different coins at contract, where they're just contract development. They've got a good white paper. It's so good. It's still like on Microsoft Word. They haven't even they haven't even had any background development on it, so they can look like it's fancy. And get behind some of these projects when the coin is still, Reef is like, it's like 2 cents, 3 cents, and get it buy it, store it on a hard wallet, or in my case, MetaMask or whatever works with a lot of these different swapping agencies, and just sit on them until they're released on an exchange. And at that point, wow, Binance just got Uniswap, and how is it already like $30? Well, it's because it was sitting somewhere gathering value on one of these swap networks, or what you have.
Release that you can actually bring it out of contract and provide liquidity. I think that Justin, Eduardo is probably we're gonna have a later thing with Eduardo, and maybe if Joel briefly is available, because they seem to know a lot more. I looked at it when they released that thing, but apparently you could take Cedo now out of contract and use it in one of these liquidity things. But we talked with Gloria behind the scenes. I was like, I really don't understand that stuff. So when it was released, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do that anyway. but yeah, there's something now that you can take it out of contract and bring it into the I think what's Justin Sun's exchange.
Tron,
whatever his exchange is. Tron.
I like to just volunteer
Tron
my
trade.
time straight. I just like to volunteer.
Right.
Here we go. So let's just it's what I find is like it's very like it's good to say like the ideas and what we should do, but once you get the volunteers and people say, hey, like this is the plan that I'll follow. So I definitely have and I said this in the first post, like I have 1 to 2 hours a week where if this is my trust is already there between Gloria and Deidre. Bob, I'm getting to know you.
All right, okay.
But it's there. So if it's just like if I know that my task is to read a white paper or to figure out how to farm or to whatever it is, if that's what I'm doing and I'm not responding to like anything else, if that's what I'm doing, I'll do it because I feel like I need to give back in whatever way that I can. Mm-hmm.
And you know what, just to touch on that, you have a really good ability about getting in there and asking those questions and sharing them with the group. And that's really one of your strengths. I think everybody has, a strength, and we really need to work on each and everybody's strength and exploit it, if you will. But, for the greater good is what I'm thinking, and to help grow the group, to go into other things. Eduardo's really good at getting in there, doing his little. He just chimed in and said, "Hey, pancake swap."
He did.
Maybe that's what we need to be looking at. And I know you've got a couple other people in your page, Deidre, that are amazing at doing research on up and coming coins. And I think if we just start maybe doing a timeline for this and, handing out assignments or seeing who's interested in doing something, you got a really good team, and we're all doing it basically for free, but we're doing it for the greater good. And I got to say, it's rewarding. It's really refreshing and rewarding. And it's gotten me a lot more enthused about the crypto space. And like I said initially, when we started this, we have to grow this crypto space to grow up, not just to be something that you shill coin on, you buy coin, you sit on it. It has got to be used. It's got to be used to gain value. You have to have mass adoption to gain the value we all want to. I want to gain. So I think by doing this and teaching people and expanding upon that, I think, we're going to have our different age groups, and people are going to go from middle school to high school to college. And
they're in middle school right now. I just signed my daughter up. She has a wallet. She has a clever wallet, and it was just so simple for her to do, and she grasped it. And then, like I said, in the group, she sent me her Bitcoin address, and I was like, I'm not giving you that, none of that. You can get some of this Tron.
Let me give you the
earn your own
story. Let me give you the backstory as to why I have, and it shows you that even people that have a little bit of experience make mistakes. The reason why I had my son install Clever, and then I took his invite code, and then I installed Clever, is because I accidentally exposed my seed phrase of my original Clever wallet. Not that I
we all do it. It's okay.
Not that I thought
it can happen to the best of us.
I panicked. I was like, why did I input my seed phrase to this? Because that's the seed phrase for the whole Clever wallet. So what I did was I took that and I uninstalled. I took all my crypto that was there and pushed them out to other wallets. Uninstalled, and then put in a new one. And then I was like, oh, my son's thing. And now I give his, when people, and I'm not talking, I don't give my, that's why I don't like Rolex in a group. I'm talking about giving to my cousins, my family. That's all I give my referral codes to. People I really no, not virtual no, right? So I give my sons. And the other day, now mind you, he's not paying attention. He's more interested in buying Nike so he can resell. But eventually, crypto will click. Eventually, it will click.
Eventually,
it will. So he has the Clever wallet, and I said, "Well, let's look at it." And I said, "Wow, look." He's like, "Why is there like $40-something?" Oh, look, you now have Ethereum. You now have this. So other people's swaps are trickle down economics from Reagan era. The crypto trickle down theory is happening in the wallet.
Not the Reagan one.
He's getting a little excited about it. He still doesn't really pay attention, but it's backed up, it's there. And I said, when you feel comfortable and you start talking to your friends that you want to go sneaker shopping with, have them get this wallet, and where the invite code
you pay
is.
them. Yep.
The invite code. So now, hopefully, by the time he's going off to college in another year or so, he'll have some stuff that he can say, "Wow, I remember when this was this, and now it's this, and now it's this." Because it's got to register that with a team.
It has to register, yeah.
And so that's what I've been recommending to people to do is to. If you're thinking about getting this on your phone, what other juvenile family member do you have in your household to get it on their phone first and get their referral link and then you put it on your phone? Because you're the one that's going to do the activity. You're the one that's going to do the experiment. But their swap rewards the referrer. So why wouldn't you do that your child who's not going to pay any attention to it? Yeah. Why wouldn't you have them benefit from that within your own household? So I just want to kind of wrap things up. I think it's awesome that Saritta, Gloria, and obviously Bob, got to share time. But just a reminder, we'll have these ABOB sessions again. Again, there's kind of intermediate level. I will prepare a document and share it to the group when that's ready that has a little bit more step-by-step. But the main thing is we were picking some alt chains, some altcoins that we felt were not only low in price, but also had products and a roadmap of additional products with either anonymous or known teams that were building actually outside of the VC collective. The one thing we neglected to mention about Clever is they receive no VC money. So for those of us who are people
let me tell you,
they are economic. They'll be what people are studying in school because they're out of the loop, and they were able to galvanize community to kind of get them where they are and to move forward. And even even today, Misha was writing, "Hello, Binance, when you're going to list us on your exchange?" They're begging to be placed on these so-called people that are put it. Yeah, exactly. They're begging to be listed on these. They're still the outcasts, and they're doing extremely well. So that's a roadmap.
Because I think it's because Binance think they're competition. If it's that's what it is. You're right.
There is a reason.
Why would you? It's a reason.
Think about it. That's and I have a tendency. I was telling Bob earlier. I have a tendency to work backwards and look at things. And I'm looking at this going, there's a reason. Binance is all about Binance, and that's it.
They are.
And they're really trying. And like I said, you put Ethereum in and you get wrapped Ethereum. What the hell is that? I don't want that. I want my Ethereum
I don't want
back,
that.
Right? Yeah. So
I said
that's
these are nations. These are nations. So
if we're frustrated, other people are
frustrated. Nations. Yeah, they're nations. But these altcoins and these small projects are the roadmaps to, okay, you're not getting funding. And I think black people need to wake up to, we need to wake up to the fact that we're not getting it. And maybe that's a good thing. Because I don't think Clever,
we're not getting it. And I'm fine with, like, I've got in a position where Clever helped out really well. And I want to be clever and help somebody else. Yes. I stumbled, I tried it, I didn't make it. Okay, let me try to help you, because what everybody says, you don't need an advisor, you don't need anybody to kind of, ear to, shoulder to cry on. No, friend, you need cash. So how do we get you this cash? That's the whole barrier.
That's no advisor. The only barrier. Look, Bob and I, and even Eduardo, we all come out of the .com space. We're a little bit older than you guys. We came out of the .com space. There was never a digital divide. It was a funding divide.
It's always,
we did not get funding. In the .com world, the innovations, this thing that we're using now, this video conferencing, it's all tied to, black guy, John Henry Thompson, who worked with a chief at Macromedia. But, that's an executive position at Macromedia. Where was the company that he should have had? When we use a search engine, that all dates to Alan Emtaj, who's still like in Canada, the archive, first search engine. When we come to .com names, that was Emmett McHenry. That was like, look, people are not going to remember IP addresses. Let's just tether them to names and
tether them.
And have a registration. So we have a lot of innovators in the space. But when it came time for people to get money to do things, and I was lucky. I worked at a .com. I worked at a .com as a 12th hire for the Globe.com, which is a precursor to Facebook, MySpace. All of them, earliest .com was the Globe.com that had the famous IPO and all that kind of stuff like that went up like 600% in the first day and all that kind of stuff. I was a part of all of that. I was the 12th hire. And I stayed there until they reached about 250 employees and had, over 2.5 members. When I first started, they had under 200. So I've been on the inside of not being able to get Black people hired in New York City, which is a Black and brown city. I recommended people with master's degrees that were coming out of the first program at NYU. But when you're not the founder, these male founders build up companies that reflect them.
And I'm guilty of that. Like it's I built up Trustabit for people who look like me. Like that is I made sure I was like, you know what, we're here somewhere and I'm going to find you. I'm just not going to just settle and just like, yeah, you can do that. Even though like we couldn't pay, but at the same time, I'm just going to look like, let me find somebody else, because there's their relate thing, and they're doing the same thing. So it's just like, if I'm doing it, I know you're doing it, but I just want to be in a position, and I feel like I'm almost there. I just need a couple more things to turn, and I'm sure Clever will by Q4. It's like, okay,
that's what ABOB was about.
I want to take this.
Was about fund ourselves so we can help fund other things that we want to build. Actually,
it's like, friend here, let me help you. I may not be able to give my time, but I can give some money, and that's what you need most. You don't need my time. You need me to open up my checkbook, and I can open up my checkbook because Gloria, back in the day, talked about this coin, and it's like, yep,
not just the coin, the company.
The coal company, she talks about this.
We're building, and then we just didn't just buy coin and flip coin. We tried to vie for governance and and really be a part of the community, which is it's something that Black people, Latinx people. Even I've put throw veto in the Italian people and stuff like that. You can say all people, but we're really very community oriented. We have big family holiday dinners. We have, that's something that's very cultural. Even if you're not doing it in your immediate family, when you saw like even outside of Black. You saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding back in the day, that movie. You were like, that was a Black family, even though they was Greek.
I know, right?
Because everybody came together. There's certain cultures around the world that are very communal, and maybe that has to do with poverty. We're making a big pot stew meal and all kinds of stuff. So blockchain should resonate with us in terms of being able to develop something that's responsive to the community and bring up wealth collectively, and then still having it be competitive and all that kind of stuff that really should speak to how we socialize as well. It's very different from okay, and he shall lead us type of thing,
and a white man shall lead us.
and make all the
where he
decisions
leads
right
us,
or wrong.
where we want to go.
The neat thing about crypto is it allows you to be a part of all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Crypto could care less of what you look like, whether you're male or female. And you know what? You still have a value, and the more people, consume that particular coin, the more value you have. And so, just to touch on what you're saying, I would really like to see this sphere again help more people. And I think that's the common thread everybody is really, really driving here. It's like, how do we get it out there to help more people get that mass adoption that we need? Because it's really not going to happen if we just word it. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, you can only shill a coin. So, I mean, even Elon Musk shills, right? I mean, like, come on.
Oh, gosh, he does.
But there has to be something behind it that's different. And I think we found that with some of the coins that we have definitely.
Before we wrap up, can we talk about Theta a little bit? Because we didn't talk about.
Yeah,
Theta.
we did.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Theta. Theta was brought into the Magic December 2020. Kale Swan made a post about Theta, and that kind of caught attention. And there was also someone else on my LinkedIn that was DMing me too. He's not actually a part of the group, and we was talking about something else, and he started mentioning Theta at the same time, and so that kind of brought attention. It's basically their blockchain. They started as an Ethereum token, and then eventually became their own blockchain, and they're basically a streaming service. The idea is to kind of eliminate these kind of delays. So if we were actually streaming this on Theta right now, we wouldn't have the little glitches that we have, because it would be, for Gloria, would be picking up some of the processing power of someone nearby that might be running a node to kind of make it more seamless. So that's kind of their thing. They're more of a hybrid. They do have like the funding. They're out of Silicon Valley. They have the one thing that they have that's interesting is that you can run they have several tiers of nodes. So, but one of the nodes they can run is just an application. It's called the Edge node. And you just go to the site, you get their wallet. And then once you have the receiving address of the wallet, you get the software for their Edge node, which is basically only for Windows and Mac. And then you can connect your receiving wallet to it. And just by running that in the background, now mind you, it's doing jobs. So it's doing, if anyone's familiar with the old folding at home, protein folding, I forget what the name of the parent company of that. I did that like 15 years ago when I was working at theglobe.com. They don't even know. I was working at theglobe.com. I was running folding at home for like over a year and made like 83 US cents. And I was like, God, I can't keep it. But you could tether your bank account, and this thing is running using computer power. I'm not using my home computer, using work. You can sue me now. The company's no longer existent. But I did all of that. I was so excited when I like quit the job, and I was like, oh, I forgot the folding at home. Let me see how much money I made. I remember the number. It was like 83 cents. I was like, forget it. But it's interesting because Theta has it, and you're earning T-Fuel. And T-Fuel might be, I don't know what T-Fuel is at. Now it's like 35 cents for one. So it's different now. So when you have that Edge node, it's either running folding at home things, which are like medical industry type, research, or it's running video encoding or something that somebody that's streaming. So it can have multiple jobs going in the background. So if you're just doing like, Google Docs and you're not watching video yourself, and it can be shut down. That's the other positive thing. So if you're just doing some stuff that's not using a lot of power, you might as well just open it, let it run in the background. Now, the other thing is they have like the kind of like a mini AOL. So if I have the Edge node and Saritta has the Edge node, Gloria has the Bob has the Edge node, if we wanted to stream in there, we could stream on the fly and like talk to each other. But we'd all have to have it because their front end, which is Theta TV, is really for their partnership type stuff. And so I've kind of conversed with them in their Discord. There's certain things I don't. I think Clever still has the better community. Theta needs to work on its customer service a bit. Their Mac thing has been down forever. Their Mac Edge node thing has been down, and they didn't even know, because I guess there's not many of us on Mac. Let's put it that way. So there wasn't many of us complaining, and I complained, and they were like, "Well, everything is up." Then somebody else came and complained, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that person's on Mac, and I'm on Mac." Then they were like, "Oh, maybe it's a Mac thing," and then they're like, "We haven't addressed it." So, yeah, I think, little growing pains in terms of getting the customer service thing and where you ask questions, because I sent stuff to support. I never got response.
That's the hurt.
Support, nothing. Clever
That's the biggest thing. Clever is like
hours.
that.
Clever.
I get a response.
It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, I have a question.
Sorry, Theta, but all that VC money is not helping you. You need to get things together. But I still like the project. I like the idea that you can, run those edge nodes and stream. I don't know whatever is going to happen in terms. They also have these partnerships. They've got Sony Europe. They've got Samsung. They've got LG. They've got what's the movie place? There's a studio. Oh, Lionsgate. So they've gotten, it's more of a traditional VC play type thing. They've got a lot of these deals. So if Theta TV never balloons into anything, they may be the back end, because mind you, they have advisors from YouTube and Twitch. So they may be the back end of when you see an improvement in YouTube streaming, it's probably because they're running on Theta's blockchain. And so that's why it's important to kind of get into their higher end nodes, which are more like the Dash Master nodes. You've got to have that node up and running 24/7, and it's collateralized. And if it goes down, you lose your collateral. So, and because they're running transactions, and they've done stuff like one of the partnerships was putting the World Poker Tour. So you're doing something like that, you can do transactional things that are happening on the blockchain. So I think, once they work out a couple of the kinks that they have and everything kind of evens out, that is one also. And now, mind you, when we first started talking about Theta was at Theta, the coin. Now, they already have the governance coin. Theta is their governance coin, and T-Fuel is their community coin. So T-Fuel was like somewhere like a penny or something like that. And Theta was 70 cents. And I remember it 70 cents because you need 1,000 to run one of, not the Edge node, not the one that's computer app, but one of the other uploads. You need a minimum of 1,000 Theta. And I was like, Christmas time, dude. You got these things ready. I'm discovering Christmas time. I have an extra $700. And now I'm kvetching because it's like $13. So I'm like, okay, these other things need to hurry up so that I can, the CETO sits for like about a month. And I'm like, ooh, do I pull out and then just go for broke and just have the 1,000? Even if I don't want
might as well
node,
yellow.
I at least have 1,000 Theta. At least exactly. But I have to wait for some maturity, and pull that amount out.
Pull it out and move it over.
And just have it.
You should have saw me trying to like.
This is how I missed Dash in 2016. Same thing, watching it. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, that's the same. And I got like some tokens that's on my Ledger Nano now. That's like, it says old behind it, and I have like Tron X, and I'm like, well, how do I get rid of this and get Tron, or how do I get real Gollum and get? It's just like, yeah, you buy it and kind of let it sit there, and now I'm like scrambling, like, okay, they have their own blockchain. How do I change it now?
But see, this is the thing. This whole collateralized nodes, which basically is staking, it originates with Dash. Dash is the first DAO. Dash by far is still my favorite coin. Period. I can even say with Bitcoin, I say the reason why they defected and became dark coin and did the thing. These are the original Bitcoin coin defectors, right? And the reason is because their tokenomics was so before people started really talking about proof of stake. Before Ethereum started proof of stake, Dash was like, yo, we got this.
No.
We've got it so that the miners serve this function, and we've collateralized these other bookie masternodes. The term masternode originates with them too. So some people use the term masternodes, but they don't have masternodes. They just adopted the vocabulary, and I'm like that, but it doesn't. You know that a masternode has a specific function, and that's to prepay what's coming before it hits the blockchain. So that's why they're so fast. They're still one of the fastest blockchains. So what they did was, what was it, 2016, 2015 or something like that, they started with these collateralized 24/7 must be online, requires the 1000 Dash to be able to launch this entity. And it's prepaying for what they know is coming. It just takes so many commits for it to go through the blockchain. And then the miners and the masternoders split with the reward is. So, well, okay, so the rewards are not that great.
Before we go too deep down, I'm gonna have to tap out, and the kids are waiting for dinner, and I kind of
you know what? Let's wrap it up. Let us wrap it up and say,
yes,
we went
time
a
for us
little
to wrap.
We're an hour and a half. An idea gives you an idea of what ABOB is about. Always bet on black.
We're ready.
Actually, going towards a number of projects. They're not just coins, but they're projects of people trying to build on the Bitcoin technology and build these new companies. And these new companies have ways in which you, as a participant, can be paid by the machine, so to speak. So we're looking at these new things, experimenting ourselves, coming up with some documents that we can give to other people. And we're definitely going to have more of these ABOBs to talk about each individual one. And we hope to add. We're only at 4. Our 4 are Clever, which we spoke a lot about Cedo, which is a DeFi play. Theta, which is a live streaming service type play, and Wive, which is a blockchain that is African led. And so we're hoping to add more to that and really get people engaged in this. And I want to thank Gloria, Perez, and Saritta Hines for taking the time out of their busy schedules.
Absolutely.
Because they were the genesis. This evolved from posts in the group, conversations in the group.
All right, folks. Well,
Bobby, have any last words?
Yes. This has been Black People in Cryptocurrency. ABOB, always bet on black.
Always.
And check back with us. We're going to try to make this Thursday night thing a thing. And only good information. We made it a point to not talk about garbage tonight. Somebody put some comments asking if we're going to talk about the run-up of Doji.
No, never.
I didn't answer it, but the answer was basically, hell no, we're not talking about it. Somewhere else. We can have that conversation. But we're trying to get to stuff that hasn't been beaten to death already and get you the heads up on it. And as you heard, if you were listening to them in December and January, you would already be up, big time. And Eduardo, who was bragging about getting his Clever at 1 penny. Yeah. All right, man. All right now.
Okay.
but this is what I'm saying is that, we wanted to just get people who have taken the time to really, figure some of this stuff out. And we're trying to tip your coat to this now so that we can have a different conversation in June where we can say, remember we were doing that live cast in April? Well, I jumped on that and it went to the moon, and now I'm buying a Lamborghini.
Win Lambo.
I don't know anybody who's bought a Lambo.
Nobody, right?
We're also talking about the long game.
Win house.
We're not talking about
Win house, right?
the only way we
And
want
not-
to talk about casino coins is if we can own the casino.
There you go.
Right.
There we go. Check and mate.
So I'm gonna take
Good
us
one.
out with the Fly Black Crypto and Currency trailer, and then we'll see you all next Thursday.
Bye.